Do you think does the Gen Z population, when it comes to learning, do they learn differently? Because here is a generation which has grown up, with technology, right?
Right.
As I was reading somewhere where someone said that Gen Y, ex, accepted technology,
Mm.
wherein Gen Z expects technology.
Mm.
So, what do you? How would you say? When it comes to learning and Gen Z,
Mm.
and what's the preference
Oh,
for?
that's a fantastic question. And well, my view on this is that there are certain principles in learning design that are evergreen, and I mean that those principles are not uh, mitigated or shifted with the advent of new technologies. For example, relevance is always a thing. So whatever the content is that you're trying to educate someone around, that content has to be relevant to their lived experience and what they need in terms of their own, in terms of their performance, helping them do their jobs better, for example. So relevance is a thing that will always, that's evergreen, stands the test of time. Connection to other people. So people always want to. I mean, largely, there's always the occasional person who doesn't really prefer to work with other people, but my experience has been that the bulk of people actually do really enjoy a collaboration and connection with other people as they work to solve problems together. And so these principles, another principle would be accountability. Like you always want some degree of accountability around the learning design to know that the thing that you have envisioned in terms of the impact is actually having the desired impact. So there are a number of principles in design of learning that are evergreen. The difference is that the tool set continues to change. So how we achieve relevance and how we achieve accountability and how we achieve human connection, it's amazing the range of tools that continue to shift as new technologies come on board, and how we as education and learning designers can apply those to improve the experience that people have of those core learning principles, right? For me, it's less about is someone a digital native or digital immigrant, and it's more about the utility of various tools towards achieving pedagogical outcomes. There's a great refrain I like to hit on when I'm talking with people about this, which is like, you don't ever get stuck in that trap of replicating poor pedagogy in technology. It's just awful. It's just an awful thing to do. So always be on your edge when it comes to thinking about what's a really good pedagogical experience and what are the tools that can be used to get you there, the new tools that can be used to get you there. On this issue again of digital immigrant versus digital native, I like someone else's, and I don't remember who actually said this first, but there's a different view of this, which is digital resident versus digital visitor. And what this means, in my mind, is the person who prefers to live in the world of technology versus the person who treats the technology as a tool kit in a shed somewhere, and they go get that tool when they need it, they use it, and they put it back, and then they go live their lives elsewhere. So that might be helpful for your listeners to think about resident versus visitor when it comes to digital tools. I know in my experience, it has been that you can't assume that because of a person's particular age and their assignment to a particular generation, that they're going to prefer to use technology. I've worked with some of the really biggest technology companies in the world. I've worked with their young populations, new hires, and it's remarkable. You get those people in a classroom, and the last thing that they want to see is a screen or an app, right? They will use their app to kind of
Wow.
trade information with each other, but they actually long for just a sit down conversation with people. So, and that could be a factor of the particular industry that they're in, and the realities of their workplace, where they do spend a lot of time, in fact, all of their time in front of a screen. So I think let's just be a little bit cautious about assuming that because a person is of a particular age, that they want to be a digital resident, and always live in that space.